Question 9. The 3 points drawn define a circle. The circumference of this circle is k pi, where k is a constant. What is the value of k? So if you look at this, this is a circle, which means that you can draw a circle that passes through all of these 3 points. So as long as the circle passes through that point, if you look at this distance from this point to here, we have 3 units. And up, we have the same 3. Down, we have 3 points. So from the geometry shape of this figure, you can discover that the radius of the circle is equal to 3. So the r is equal to 3. And the question itself gives us the circumference, which is equal to k pi. And we know that the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And we already have the r. So r is equal to 3, and c can be replaced by this. So k pi is equal to 2 pi times 3. We can divide both sides by pi to get the value of k. And then we cancel these, and k is equal to 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. So we choose the 6 here to be our answer. We can also consider that on Desmos by writing the list of values. We can write here the c, which is the circumference, 2 pi r. How to write 2 pi? Just write 2, and the pi, write pi. Once you finish writing pi, you can get the pi written for you. And r, this is the formula that we have to follow. And then we have the c also, given in the question, k pi. Just write k pi. And after that, we have to mention that r is equal to 3. R, which is the radius, is according to the diagram is equal to 3. And then k is here, gives us the value of k, which is equal to 6. Question number 10, we have a system of linear equations. The solution to the given system of equations is x and y. What is the value of y? So we need to get the value of y only. Can draw these, or we can just write these on Desmos and we get the value of y. And you have two ways to write this. You can just write them in 2 separate lines like this: y equals to negative 2x minus 10, which gives you a graph, a line here. And another line we write y is equal to 2x plus 16. And you can look at the intersection point here. Negative 6.5, which is the value of x in the solution, and 3, which is the value of y. The question says what is the value of y, so we have to choose the 3. We can also consider writing a list. If you want to answer using a list, you can do that. You can get the list and write the sign between them, and write the left side for every one. Y, comma, y. And then in the right side, we write negative 2x minus 10 and 2x plus 16. Negative 2x. But you have in this one, you have to write y1 and x1. Remember to do that in order to know the values of everyone. Minus 10 and then comma 2x1 plus 16. And the value of y1 is equal to 3, which is what we are looking for. Question number 11. A scientist studying the life cycle of butterflies counted the number of butterflies in a certain habitat each day for 46 days. On June 15, there were 168 butterflies in the habitat. The percent increase is the number of butterflies in the habitat from May 1st to June 15 was 31.25%. How many butterflies were in the habitat on May 1st? So here we can consider that or look carefully at this word, percent increase. Percent increase has a formula. Percent increase is equal to the difference over the original multiplied by 100. And the difference means the new one minus the old one, or the new one minus the original. So we can say the percentage is equal to new, n means the new one minus the original one over the original value multiplied by 100. And p, as long as a percentage, we just write the number 31.25 without this sign, because it's already 31.5%, it's called the percentage. So just write the number 31.25. And the new one, which one is the recent one? June or May? Of course, May is the beginning. May comes before June. So May is the original. And June is the new one. So on June, there were 168, which means that this is n. So we write 168 minus the original one, which is the required value, and then the original one to be written down again, multiplied by 100. And then we can calculate that using the calculator or using Desmos. This is 100. Then you can solve it. Also, we can do that on Desmos by writing the formula. And the formula says that we have P, which is the percentage. You can write it here. P. Just provide the Desmos with the formula, and then we write the parentheses. Just make sure that you write parentheses like this, n minus r. And after that, we make a slash in order to go down and write r again. And then go to the right and multiply this by 100. And that's the rule that should be followed. Then we have some information. Write the information that we have here. N, the new one, is equal to 168, 168. And P itself is given as 31.25, write P. In the right side here, make a comma and write 31.25. And then everything will be given to you. As you can see, R is equal to 128. We are getting the value of R. R is the original value, which is the value that we are required to get. The question says, how many butterflies were in the habitat on May? May is the original March month, which is the answer of 128. If 5 times 4 minus 5x plus 4 times 4 minus 5x plus 9 is equal to 8 times 4 minus 5x plus 6, what is the value of 5x minus 4? You can do that directly once on Desmos. Just write everything in one list of values. And then we are asking Desmos to be the value of 5x plus 4 minus 4. But we make sure that write x1 if you want to write them inside the list of values. So we can write them like this and get in the right. We say 5 into 4 minus 5x1. Then outside this, you write plus 4 into 4 minus 5x1 plus 9. This is the left side. And then the right side, we write 8 parentheses 4 minus 5x1 plus 6 plus 6. And here we need to get the value of 5x minus 4. So we can name this as any letter like A, for example. So we come here and write a comma with A. And A can represent this value of 5x1 minus 4. And then A is equal to 3. So our answer is equal to 3. And that's how to write the equation inside the list of values, as you can see. Question number 13. A rectangle is inscribed in a circle such that the length of the diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of its shortest side. Let's draw this. Let's draw a circle and then a rectangle inside this circle. So this is one of the circles. And then we need to draw a rectangle inside of it, like this. And it says that the diagonal of the rectangle, which is this one right here, is twice the length of the shortest leg. This is a short leg. So we can say that this is twice of this one. But you know that if this is a diagonal of the rectangle, it must be also the diameter of the circle, which should pass through the point of the center. So if this is the diagonal of the rectangle, it must be also the diameter of the circle, which contains R and R. So that's a radius, and here a radius, and this should be also a radius because this is double of this one. The question says that diagonal is twice the length of the shortest leg. So this one is R and this one is 2R. And from here, we have some other information. The circumference of the circle is 114 pi. What is the circumference of the circle? Circumference is equal to 2 pi R. And this is the circumference. So we can write 114 pi is equal to 2 pi R. And when we divide by, say, divide by 2 pi to get the value of R, you can get r equals to 57 because pi cancels pi, and when you divide 114 by 2, you get 57. So now r is equal to 57. And we need now to get the value of the area of the rectangle. The area of rectangle is equal to the length times the width. And the width is known that it is r, which is 57. But the length here can be obtained by using the Pythagorean theorem. So now we can get that length equals the square root of this number squared minus this squared. And this number is 114 because it's 2r. 57 here and 57 here. So we have 114 squared minus 57 squared. This is the length. And then once we get the value of the length, we multiply it by 57, which is the height. We get the answer of this question. We can use the calculator by making the square root of 114 squared minus 57 squared. And we get this number 57 square root 3. So L is equal to 57 square root of 3. And we need to get the area. So the area of the rectangle is this one times this one. So 57 square root 3 times 57, which is the R here. And once we multiply this, just multiply 57 by 57 because the answer should contain square root 3. One of these answers, B or D. But of course, it cannot be B because 57 is multiplied twice. You can just multiply 57 by itself or just make it squared. You can get 3,249. And then we insert the square root 3. So the answer is letter D. We can also consider writing all this information on Desmos by making the list of values. And don't forget to write the sign between them. And in the left side, we write the circumference, which is equal to 2 pi r. And the circumference also, C, is equal to 114 pi, as given in the question. So now we get the value of r, which is 57. And we need to get the length of the rectangle. Let's make it L. And the length is equal to the square root. Just write SQRT, you get the square root of r squared, 2r squared, which is this length here, that the hypotenuse is 2r. So 2r all squared minus r squared. 2r all squared like this minus r squared. And then we get this is the length. And we need to get the area of the rectangle, so we can add the letter A for the area. And right here, the area is equal to, make sure that you get outside like this, make a comma, the length times the width. And the width is R already from the graph. So we have all the information given, and we have the area of 5,627.4, which is the same as this number. If you want to calculate this number, you can just write it here. 3249.49 square root 3 equals, if you look at this number, you can find it exactly the same as this one. So the answer is letter D. Question 14. We have this system of inequalities. For which of the following tables are all the values of x and their corresponding values of y solutions to the given system of inequalities? So we need to graph these on Desmos and then discover the points. We can just write them here. Y is less than negative 5x minus 19. And as you can see, there is a shaded part, shaded region. And then the second one, y is greater than, and we write negative 3x minus 12. And as you can see, this red part here is the solution. So we can insert these points and see when the point is inside this area, this is a solution. So let's check for the first table. We have negative 5 and 6. Make a point like this, negative 5, comma 6. Let's see where the point lies. The point is on the line itself, which cannot be considered a solution. So the point should be inside because this line is dashed, as you can see, which means any point on this line is not a solution, which makes A incorrect. Let's check negative 5 and 4. So we can let's change the 6 to be 4. And you look at the point. Yeah, the point now is inside the shaded region of the solution. So let's check the second point in the same table, -6 and 10. Instead of -5, we make it -6. And then this 4 to be changed to be 10. And let's see where the point lies. Yeah, it's inside the shaded region as well. And the last one is -8 and 19. This -8 and this number to be 19. Let's check the point. The point is still inside the shaded region, which makes B the correct answer. Question 15, we have this circle equation. In the xy plane, the graph of the given equation is a circle. And if the circle is inscribed in a square, what is the perimeter of the square? The circle is inscribed inside a square, which makes the square outside. If the circle is something like this, and the square is outside, it means it has 4 points of intersection with the circle. These points are here, 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 and here. And the length of the square, we need to get the perimeter of the square. The perimeter of the square is 4s, is equal to 4s, and s is the side length of the square. But as long as the square has a limit of the circle, so the side of the square is the same as the diameter of the circle. So we can get the diameter, we can consider it as s. How can we do that? We can just graph this equation of the circle on Desmos. X squared minus 6x plus y squared minus 4y minus 51 is equal to 0. And then we have this circle right here. You can see the circle. You can just look at this point, which is 3 and 10. If you click on this, you can get it here. Let's name it A. And this point down here is 3 and -6. Just click on this and write B. Name it B. So we have A and B. If we want to get the length between A and B, we get the distance between them. And the distance could be written as, let's say, the side. Side length is S. So S is equal to the distance. Just write distance, D-I-S-T-A-N-C-E. Once you finish writing distance, you see that the word is written correctly. And then open the parentheses and write A, comma, B, which means the distance between A and B. It's 16. So this S is equal to 16. How can we get P? Just write P here. P is equal to 4S. And then the answer is equal to 64. So just choose 64 to answer the question. Number 16. For groups of 5 or more people, a tour guide charges $9 for the first person in that group and $6 for each additional person. Which function G gives the total charge in dollars for a tour with a group of n people, where n is greater than or equal to 5? In this kind of questions, which is repetitive in SAT, we need to consider the function y is equal to mx plus b, but we need to change the x here to be x minus 1, because for the first person we have some kind of calculation, and the rest of them have another calculation. So we have to consider y, and instead of y we can just read g of n, because it's written here, g of n instead of y, m, and then x minus 1, because we exclude the first person, and then plus b. And m is any word that's associated with the word each or pair. Here, 6 for each additional person, which means the 6 as the slope. So g of n is equal to 6, and then x minus 1 plus b. And b is the initial value, or the 9, which is given for the first person. Just write plus 9. And then we distribute the 6. So g of n is equal to 6 times x, 6x, 6n. Yeah, this could be replaced by n instead of x. So here, we need to change this x to be n, as the question changed it already to n. And then this n could be distributed with the 6. So 6n minus 6 times 1 is 6, and then plus 9. Then g of n is equal to 6n, and -6 plus 9 is equal to plus 3, which gives us the answer of letter C.